is at least my latest, and I was able to change my appointment accordingly. Looking at what Mark sent, because he had a nice short 15 minutes meet and greet, welcome meet and greet. He said then presentation of the budget guide, community primer for about 25 minutes, and then followed by 20 minutes Q&A. I like that. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's not too long either, but it gives enough time for people to kind of get to know us in the beginning, listen to the primer, which is short and sweet as well, and to the point, and then plenty of time for questions. So I would adopt it as he proposed. And it's here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
For the question period after, I think, what do we envision that looking like? I guess maybe ask the question.
So we had tossed around a bunch of ideas before, but I think the default was we'll take questions, we'll try to the best of our abilities to answer them on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can't, then we'll write them down and try to answer them afterwards.
Should we have, kind of like it happens at the board meeting, folks to have sort of a question card and write down their questions ahead of time, so we can also see if there, for example, if there's 3 questions that are very much the same ones, we can group them all in one and sort of answer them at the same time with, person 1 had this nuance, we'll address that at the same time and make that more efficient. And also, if there's more questions that time, we don't need to write them down, but we already have the questions that can later publish the answers.
I expect to see a good portion of people show up virtually as opposed to in person. So maybe for this first time, let's not over engineer it.
Sure.
We'll just take questions as they come and until we run out of time. And then if we run out of time and there's still a ton of questions, then we'll ask people to write them down, email them to us, and then we'll triage them.
It would probably be really good because then you'll get an idea what people are really curious about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If we're doing this hybrid, are we doing this in a Zoom webinar format so that so people just raise their hand and we give them the option to come on mute, off mute?
I think we were going to set it up similar to how we do the board meetings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
I think questions like for the group is like at board meetings, we allow 2 minutes of like comment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to have a time limit? No time? Like, what are your thoughts?
Are we allowing comments or are we just allowing questions?
I think we're just allowing questions.
Yeah, because I don't know that comments are appropriate or what
Yeah.
we're doing. Like we're not a decision-making board, so like
Yeah.
trying to convince us or anything seems like maybe that's what you want, but that's not
Yeah.
something that we really are here for. We're trying to answer questions and gather some ideas for future
Mm-hmm.
projects and things like that. But a
Yeah.
question.
How will you manage if somebody has an opinion they want to share versus a question? Because I think this happens
Yeah.
in board meetings too.
Yeah. I
It's
think
the opposite though.
I think we would say that thank you for your comments. This really is a forum for questions. So do you have a question? Please say it now, or if you have a comment, then put it down in writing and submit it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
Encourage it that way.
Yeah. So we should probably say how our Q&A session will go.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
And then we kind of also set parameters around like who, I mean, I know that's part of like the introduction, but like, what our role is. Like, we're not decision makers.
Yeah.
And so you're not like, you can prevent, like if you're trying to like present data to us, try to convince us of something, that we're not the right people for that piece, right? We are here to like be a conduit for how to disseminate information in a digestible piece, take what the district has in terms of like overall like budgets and make it manageable for the lay person kind of.
Right.
That's our role, not to make decisions. So
Right.
good idea, wrong forum.
Right. I'm also a little reluctant to put a timer on it. I personally find that very stressful. But I also don't know if our audience will, be disciplined enough to kind of self-monitor.
1 hour is gonna go really fast.
Yeah,
Just be able to get a few questions in,
It's,
most of it just write in, please, right?
yeah,
I kind of like the timer idea though, because it's the same format of the board meetings and the city hall as well. When they have public meetings, right? They also have sort of that timer. It's sort of a good, I don't know if it's a good way, that's the only way I've observed it, but it seems like continuing that same format seems
But-
to
but-
support sort of.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is to not have a timer
Oh, is
because
that right?
people seem to talk
For the time limit.
Or the
or to
time
fill
being.
up their, they like
Right.
right?
I have 2 minutes.
Just
and
like,
make-
please keep your questions short and to the point.
Yeah, it's a question.
So other
You
people can,
Not have a 2-minute question. That's
It
not.
backfires, yeah.
It's more of a community forum than it is like a
yeah.
structured.
So one thing we should do is we should have an MC who is hosting the meeting.
Yeah,
And then we should have somebody who's on, somebody from the committee who's on the computer so that they can see and read off questions coming in from the Zoom meeting.
So what we do for our Zoom for the board meetings is we typically don't have the comments on. So
Okay.
people, if they have questions, they raise their hand.
Oh, they have to sit.
It's to create a little bit of a better atmosphere.
Okay.
So I
People
think,
tend to type things in the chat that are passive aggressive, sometimes just regular aggressive, sometimes and offensive. So you may not have that context for.
Non-productive.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
and then, yeah, that makes sense. So check deactivated and Q&A deactivated.
Okay. So we'll have like somebody online to moderate the Zoom audience.
so Nadia and I will be there for support. If there are specific questions, I'm hesitant to be able to like answer them on the spot, because normally when the board asks questions, we sit down to get or we don't sit down together, but one of us will pull information and then we look, okay, is this because we pull from so many different places.
Yeah.
Sometimes we double and like check to make
Yeah.
sure each matches, not that we don't have it, but sometimes we need a little time to make sure that it's
Yeah.
accurate. So if there are specific questions, how would you like to handle? Like, would it be like, we'll get back to you, that type of thing, or?
I mean, if you don't know it off the top of your head, then you're gonna have to get back to them.
I prefer
like what is the percentage of expenditures for benefits, or that sort of like you may
Yeah.
have a very specific question. If we have it handy, we'll keep there
Yeah.
and we can post answer
Right.
at a different time. But
I imagine we would have to postpone a lot of the answers. But if it is more of a, I don't know what to call it. If it's more of a discussion question, I do think it deserves, airtime. So that's what I hope to help clarify misunderstandings or confusions, or like, can you walk me through this again? I think those are easy questions for us to help with right now. But if somebody's looking for a very specific answer and a set of analysis, there's no way we can do that on the spot.
in the other public meetings, how do you manage the questions that you are not answering right away? How do you follow up? Do they give you an email? Is it publicly posted somewhere? How is that process working?
I think it depends on a meeting. I mean, if it's a public meeting, sometimes we'll post it later. We don't have very many meetings that are similar to this.
Oh.
If it's a like school site where we're doing like a discussion on something, sometimes there's questions that are not always like we have a parking lot. So somebody will ask something, well, what about the playground? And important, but maybe not part of this. So like we'll put it on a sticky note and stick it in a parking lot of like, yes, sometime we'll come back to that. Other ideas, Vern?
I mean, I think depending on the question, because there's sometimes that seems like a public request for information, like question, right? Like that really isn't like a part of regular operations, and it's not necessarily relevant. Like it's a curious to know type question, and maybe that's a one-on-one. But like I think what we want to try to do is maybe set the tone for like these are questions that would be good for lots of people to know. But knowing like, I mean, even the questions like what percentage of like expenditures go to special education classrooms at Graham? That's a very hyper specific question. I can see someone wanting to know, but that doesn't seem like it would help the whole, like that feels like a very, like, you need to sit down with someone and have a conversation with someone about this, and like we can work with you on that. And like maybe that's kind of how you do that. But
aside from this budget 101, it's probably worth spending 5 minutes, right? Sounds probably a long time, just to introduce, the BAC, right? Who we are, what we're doing, what you want to do, what your purpose is, how you would like to interact with the public. And so that sort of they get across what you don't necessarily know all the answers, right?
Right, right,
But you want to be this liaison between district office and the public,
right.
sort of a resource.
I think in the agenda, did we start with 15 minutes of introductions? And
We can
I
Oh,
think
that's a long time.
we
Yeah.
absolutely should include that in the introduction.
Also the purpose of what what you
Right.
want.
Yeah.
That might help
Yeah.
guide the questions,
Yeah.
right? So you're not getting really detailed stuff about the budget that that's not our, right?
yeah,
Right,
because I mean, there's certain things that like I can imagine someone wanting to know specific details, but really what we're trying to help people do is understand how financing works in the school setting. And specific details is like you can get that information through requests or whatnot. But like what we're trying to say is here is how a school is funded, like our district like ours is funded. These are the different buckets that you come from, and here's how those guiding principles about how you can spend that money. So like you may be like wondering why we are able to build a building, but we're cutting teachers. And it's like, well, because of different buckets of money. And you may not have that concept of understanding, or like, you want more subs, but you also are concerned about the fact that we have to like get a waiver for something. Well, subs actually go against that, right? So like having that understanding is important. Specific details is maybe too much in the weeds.
Yeah.
That's how I envision kind
Yeah.
of things that we're conveying to people.
That's a good point, Vern. Like we're talking about holistically revenue, where it comes from, how we spend our money, the different buckets, because there are different buckets, which is very different than, I guess, most. That's a good point.
So I think that's both good suggestions. Basically, in the intro, we'll introduce the committee, the purpose of the committee, what we're trying to do. And also in that introduction, we should talk about the purpose of the public forum. This public forum, the purpose is to do a basic introduction to district finances and how it works. So it's really like fundamental foundation setting. We're not going to get into fancy things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. 15 minutes is generous. We might not need all of it. But it's good to set aside plenty of time because it's our first public appearance. So
Yeah.
might as well do that right.
Everyone's backgrounds is very impressive. Like this is not your general committee. Like I think it would be really beneficial to share like the backgrounds everyone comes from.
Can you say something? It sounds like you listened to some of them.
I did.
The board retreat, and somebody came up with the idea we should have a finance committee because many school districts have finance committees.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about what's the difference between a budget advisory committee and a finance committee. And do you know anything about that?
I think it's all dependent on what the district would like or what the board would like. So like sometimes you can have whatever the name is, the group can meet and actually help with certain things. So AV growth, for example, like you can go as deep as you want into AV growth and knowing like, okay, these 6 commercial properties provide X% of revenue. And I'm going to watch to see what these commercial properties are doing to get an idea of, predicting what AV is going to be. Right now, we mainly rely on the assessor's office. So it can go that detailed to but you would really, really need to have people that are highly invested and people that are going to stay on year after year. Because if you don't have that longevity, you end up bringing people on, just like this group, teaching, training, and then if they fall off, then you start it over again. So it can either be a group that meets regularly, so like before first interim, hey, this is what we're looking at, and they're also looking at the data to see, yep, that we think that looks about accurate, and maybe having conversations about what the assumptions are, because really it's the assumptions that are driving it, and these are people that have finance expertise. Or it could be, I think both are useful. Like this group, like when last year, when we were going through creating our travel conference form, because we have people in all different industries, it was helpful to say, oh, why don't we just add this? And then Doug, who comes from the CPA background, to say, let's do a flat rate for meals, because that just makes it's cleaner, it's better. So it was really useful for that purpose too. So it just depends.
Yeah. I mean, I think knowing the folks on this committee, I think we could handle more and different types of tasks. It just depends on how the district wants to engage with us. Yeah. How to use us. That's what I was actually going to say. Should we talk about marketing?
Yes.
So I think Mark had some ideas that I didn't read. So could you read those out loud for us? Thanks, Mark, for sending this in advance.
Yes, that's right. This one was just the meeting invitation. Yep. It's the same one.
I reviewed the meeting invitation in Spanish and looks good.
That makes nice.
sense.
Thank you
Yes,
for doing
thank
that.
you.
I didn't see a public meeting proposed. Here we go. Shelley,
Or maybe Shelley had said something.
I think it was Shelley. Oh yeah, newsletter. Yeah, yes. We could ask the principals to edit to their newsletters for February 25, which because there's no newsletter next week, there is the district news-wide newsletter that goes out this Friday, and Shelley can add that in.
Okay.
We can ask the PTAs to share it. That's what I'm adding in.
Okay.
PTAs via Constella or however they're sharing it as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have two weeks,
Um,
tomorrow in 2 weeks.
and do we already have the Zoom link?
This is the same.
We can set one up.
Okay.
It's on the public calendar, but we don't have the Zoom link set.
So I think we should send out, as
Mhm.
part of the advertisement, we should include the Zoom link.
Yes.
And then it just makes it easier to disseminate with. And then, so we'll do district, we'll do PTA ads, and then PTA newsletters.
I mean, the principals usually send theirs out on Wednesday, which is Wednesday 25, February 25. It's kind of late, but it doesn't hurt to.
Okay.
I'm thinking for setup, in here, like that we have like two folding tables at the front, so you guys can sit at the front. We'll have you all mic'd, and then have whoever wants to participate sitting, and then we'll have the camera on.
Okay.
Does that sound?
Yeah.
Seem odd to be at the dais, at the big table.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it seems a little
Like we want it to be
not friendly.
There's a barrier there.
Yeah.
Quite physically, yeah. I agree.
I'm just thinking about anywhere else where we can find people who are interested in the budget, learning about the budget.
We are recording it, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Is there an interest in greater community? So people who don't have kids in school, like neighborhood associations. I don't know if that's something, I mean, I don't really.
Don't know them,
listen.
but
Yeah, I mean, I think we have ways to like go to like Nextdoor or post on Nextdoor or something like that. But I wonder if that even is something that we want to engage in at this moment. Would that be too big?
It's actually a really good idea. But I don't know.
My personal opinion is that I think it's a good idea eventually, but it might not be worth the effort at this stage.
I wish we had cookies on who watched the budget discussions, and then we could go back to them. And if you like this meeting, you might like this meeting.
Definitely send it to the bond oversight committee and
Oh,
parcel tax.
yeah.
committee.
We had
I can
this.
send you some names of people that does emails all the time about budget things.
I was
Better or worse, right?
I was gonna ask. They have a lot of
Those-
questions.
those that have questions, we should probably include.
They have their own little networks, each of them, so.
Yeah.
Want their input.
I recall that we had the same issue during our listening project where we don't have set ways, we don't have great ways of communicating out. So I think once we do a few of these, we'll start to create our own distribution
Mhm.
and are fans of the budget advisory committee. So
Matt,
And also things on courtesy that going out, you could have city people who are involved in the city.
yeah.
I suggest that. I think that's a stretch, right?
Yeah, can we get a little blurb on our BEAC website? Just like an event, I don't know.
It's listed there as an event. Maybe I'll copy the invitation blurb, and put it right next to it.
Okay.
Okay.
You want some public relations, invite Emma Montalban for the Voice,
Oh. Sure,
write an article, but
yeah,
she'd be interested.
okay.
Just let her know about the event. It's up to her.
Mark had also suggested or asked, do we want to provide snacks and drinks?
Thoughts?
We don't have that at board
Yeah.
meetings typically, right?
Yeah.
It's only an hour.
Is Mark gonna make cookies for us?
He actually said he
Oh,
would
did he?
be happy.
Oh, that's super sweet.
I think the idea also was in the beginning to have sort of an informal mingling part, the first 10-15 minutes, aside from our introductions.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we said we were gonna stick around for a little longer. So if we have stragglers, because we said we were gonna extend our time here and use we'll debrief
yeah,
as a committee afterwards. So if we have some stragglers, that might limit our committee meeting time, but that's okay. At some point, we'll have to kick them out and meet briefly.
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So, okay, welcome. Introduction of the members, purpose of Budget Advisory Committee and that forum in particular, what our role is, more of the holistic piece. I made a couple of notes, kind of how to address that. The slides, I think we're ready. We finalized them last time, right? Who will present and run the slides? So run off of one of your computers you
I can.
mentioned. And then do we have a clicker?
Yes, we have clickers. I can click however we want to do it.
And then who's presenting the slides, or do we want to divvy that up?
I think we should divvy up the introduction portion and then the presentation portion, and then we should have a moderator for the Q&A.
Yeah.
Or the moderator for the Q&A can be the same person that presents the slides, but that way there's a little bit of, you don't get face fatigue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark would be probably like you or Mark would be a good moderator.
I think so, yeah. So I'll talk to Mark about it, see if he's so that we don't volunteer him for a public speaking event, public speaking role.
Do it too.
I do a lot of public speaking.
Yes, you do. So I'll take that offline and
Sounds good.
okay. Anything else? You all ready?
Mhm. Rebecca, you were sending us the link to the Zoom. And then what blurb were you referring to be shared with the greater community?
Say that one more time.
What blurb, what sort of overall description of the event, invitation paragraph were you referring to?
I see it on Mark's invite for February 26th that he shared with the group.
Oh, the calendar invite.
So he says you're invited to an in-person, that one. I see who's this on it.
I'm on it.
You're on it, and then there's.
Yeah.
You're in it too.
So I see your, oh, the document. I thought you meant the calendar invitation. Okay.
Ah.
Yes, I am on Google Doc. I've seen that one.
Then there should be a calendar invite, and it should be on the public calendar as well. Just needs a Zoom link that we'll add.
We'll send a note out to the rest of the committee after this meeting, asking people to reach out to their sites.
Mhm.
How did we handle the sites that don't have committee members last time for the listening project? Did we divvy those up?
I can connect to all the PTA principals. I have them on the list,
Okay.
on a list. I can. How do we reach out to the principals? Is there a principals? Probably, distributor that would be nice. Forwarding that to be added to the newsletter.
The newsletter just goes through Shelley. Shelley tells
Yeah.
us to put in the newsletter, so.
The district newsletter or the principals?
The principal, she sends
Oh,
out,
Shelley.
every week she sends out like, these are things that the district is requesting that we put in our newsletter, so there's always.
Oh, then it comes
Like a
from the
weekly thing.
district.
Yeah, so there's the thing that says district news.
Yeah.
That's all, like Shelley creates a newsletter every week and sends it
There's
out
like
to
a
us.
template.
Yeah.
Like, we are in the district section of the
Secrets to
newsletter.
how
I did not know that,
principals
but I
do
like that.
jobs.
That's a good idea. Did not.
Okay, so can we get some help from Shelley to reach the principals?
Yes.
And then you can reach the PTAs?
Okay, that's already on her list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, great. Yay. And then we'll do word of mouth for neighborhood associations. The other committees, Rebecca, do you have access to those?
Funds.
The bond committee, the
Tax.
partial
Yep.
tax. Okay.
Do those for sure.
Okay.
Not to create more work for Shelley, do you think it would be too much for her to like push some Facebook pages?
We can do that too.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then we'll ask our committee members to do word of mouth.
Good plan.
I will also talk to Mark about a couple of slides for our introduction section. So that we don't have to memorize everybody's backgrounds. But also to write down like our rules of engagement, like later on, what are our rules for the Q&A session? What's the purpose of this committee? Or what's the purpose of the session and things like that. So we'll just have some basic agenda slides and stuff.
Basic expectations.
Yeah. It's like expectations. I like that.
All right. I don't know, Mark may want to clean up my notes. But they're here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for
Thank
doing
you.
that.
Yeah, sure.
Bill thanks you too, since he has to take notes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't catch that you were taking notes.
Yeah, the board has requested that anybody who attends a committee basically present during a board meeting
Oh.
when we have committee reports, so you can't say I attended a meeting, you know,
I see.
I actually have to summarize.
You can't just sit there and look pretty.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Sounds
This
great.
is like the fastest meeting we've had.
I know.
Well, let's-
Also the smallest.
Yes.
Let's descend.